Hey, what is up, you guys? I am alive! And hopefully you are too, unless there's some Walking Dead illness going around that I don't know about. But anyway, yes, I have survived the first weekend of Horror Nights. And most of you know that I am an Orlando native, and I've gone to the past six Horror Nights out there in Orlando, but it was my first weekend ever doing Halloween Horror Nights here in Hollywood. And I kind of wanted to give you a little review of the event, or do a list of the houses that I liked from best to least. So let's get to it. Alright, one of the first things I wanted to talk about that's very different from Orlando is the fact that Hollywood has the Terror Tram, which, since Universal Orlando doesn't have a backlot and Hollywood does, they can use this area as a almost scare zone. I want to classify as a Terror Tram as a scare zone because it's not really a house, even though they kind of want to classify it as a house here in Hollywood. It's more of an elongated scare zone. And of course, the theme is Walking Dead, which I'm kind of over since Orlando's last year's scare zone were all Walking Dead. But I think the Terror Tram is the neat idea to be able to walk through the backlot, but I don't think in terms of the Halloween Horror Nights factor of actually scary. I just wasn't as thrilled with the execution of the Terror Tram as I was hoping to be. So, yeah. Anyway, moving on to the houses, I'm gonna go from least to best because that's just how I roll. Alright, number 7. I have to put Dracula Untold as probably one of the weakest houses here over in Hollywood. I just didn't get it. I don't know if they were trying to do the story, of course, of the movie, but that hasn't come out yet. But it was just super dark. There was a lack of scare actors. There wasn't really anything special about it. I think it was one of those houses that you could find just anywhere. Yeah, I really don't have much to say. It was okay, at best. Alright, and number 6, this could be my fault for not seeing the movies and or television show, but I have to put Dusk Till Dawn at number 6, just because I didn't really get it. And of course, like I said, that's my fault. But in terms of scares as well, there were very few of them. The sets were interesting. There was a lot of snakes. I didn't even know. I think the monsters were supposed to be vampires, but I couldn't really classify them as anything. And I was even one of the first people in the kind of groups they let in, so I was getting all the scares, and yet I still wasn't scared. So in terms of the scare factor and the fact that I just didn't get it, I would have to put Dusk Till Dawn at number 6.
This place is a giant people juicer. This isn't just a bar.
And number 5 was Face Off in the Flesh. Now, I didn't hate this house at all, but I didn't love it. Obviously, they used the House of Horrors building to do this maze, and just like the other ones, it wasn't scary in terms of me. I thought it was cool seeing all these cool different prosthetic works that they use, but that's really it. The one thing I really loved about it is the fact that House of Horrors is a long attraction. So this is one of the longest mazes that they have at Halloween Horror Nights, and it was more of a rave dance party than a actual scare house, because they had just house techno music bumping through with strobe lights, and it was very dancey. So I almost felt like I was in a rave rather than a haunted house. And at number 4 is The Walking Dead End of the Line. Now, I know a lot of people are kind of over Walking Dead at Horror Nights, and so am I. But I actually really liked the scare zone they had out by the backlot going into the Walking Dead house. However, the house itself was kind of underwhelming. I assumed since they have Walking Dead on the maps and are like kind of promoting the hell out of it, that'd probably be one of the best houses. However, it wasn't. Even in terms of building, they didn't even build it inside of a tent or a stage building. It was kind of just out of nowhere. They kind of just constructed this, and it was really short as well. There wasn't any really elaborate sets. There were a couple good scares, but I would think that if you're highlighting this as one of your main events, that it should be one of the best houses. However, it doesn't seem they put as much time into this house as some of the other houses. It wasn't a terrible house, but it wasn't an amazing house. And at number 3 was Clowns 3D. How appropriate. In terms of 3D houses, this is probably one of the best ones I have been in terms of actual 3D-ness. They use a lot of the neon paint and a lot of the neon 3D effects, and the house itself is just really fun to go into. They classify it as Clowns 3D music by Slash. I honestly didn't even really notice. The music wasn't a big part of it for me. There's music in it, but I didn't really listen for it. But the visuals in the house are fun. The scares are fun. It's a comical house. I actually really enjoyed it. And at number 2, American Werewolf in London. Now, this was one of my favorites from last year over in Orlando, and they brought it over to Hollywood this year. I still like the Orlando version better, but there were some cool and neat things they did in here that they didn't do over in Orlando. One of them was this actual subway section where they had like this almost train that comes a little towards you and looks like it's gonna hit you. I thought that was interesting. I haven't seen that before. But they didn't really do much in the subway scene as they did in Orlando. I really like the Orlando version, how they actually built the subway area. But there were a lot more wolves in the Hollywood house versus the Orlando house. Even like the last 3 rooms, even though it didn't make sense story-wise, with just straight wolves popping out of you, which was kind of cool. Yeah, obviously puppets are soon taking over Halloween Horror Nights because they do provide pretty good scares when there's a giant wolf coming at you. And as you guessed, finally number 1 was Alien vs. Predator. Now, I really had high hopes for this house, and it did not disappoint. The puppets are amazing. And I couldn't ask for better effects in there. One of the greatest end scenes of a house I've ever seen. There was this, I don't even know, 20-30 foot alien puppet that is, I guess, moved by, it has to be a couple people because this thing is huge. And while you're in that room, you have an alien and a predator coming at you. I have to say it's just one of the best scenes in use of puppets and costumes I have seen in a house this year, and I'm really looking forward to seeing Orlando's version as well. Anyway, that is my list for the houses here at Halloween Horror Nights in Hollywood. If you went to the event here last weekend in Hollywood, let me know what you thought about my list, if you agree or disagree with it. I really would like to know what houses you thought were the best. And for those of you over in Orlando, I will actually be flying out to Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando the first weekend in October. I should be there that whole weekend, so I'm excited to contrast and compare this different and same houses. And yeah, I'm excited for that. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next week. What Disney character do you think is kinky in bed? Wow, this is getting there. I'm gonna go with Esmeralda. I mean, have you seen her work this pole? Yeah, I think she can do some things in bed.